Holy crap, guys! How are you doing? We're here with a brand new Let's Play on the channel, and it is Tomb Raider Underworld. You know, I know a lot of you guys are probably pretty familiar with the Tomb Raider reboot, but I am actually a fan of the old school Lara. I've been a big fan of hers pretty much since the first game came out on the PS1, and I've played just about every game since then. Maybe not all of them all the way through, but I really do. This game, I think, came out in 2008. It's the last game of the series before it was rebooted for the second time, I might add. And I really love the crap out of it. So we're going to play this through, and we're playing it on PC, of course, so we get some extra nice lighting effects and things going on, and we're just going to see what happens. So at the moment, Lara's house has been blown the fuck up, and we're trying to get out. And we're going to do so by throwing big-ass levers. So this is really the tutorial level, so it's just teaching us to get familiar with the controls and things like that, so it won't take us too long to blow through. There are so many things about this game that I just really love that I want to share with you guys throughout the playthrough. Because I think it really didn't get the attention that it deserved when it came out, because people just kind of went, oh yeah, it's another Tomb Raider, yeah, Lara Croft, Booze McGee, that kind of thing. But when it was really, it didn't like redefine the series or anything like that. But there was a lot of work put into this game, and I appreciate that on the part of the developers. They were not trying to just knock out a sequel; they were trying to really up the ante for the series. And while they may not have completely achieved that, I think it's definitely worth more of the attention that it actually received at the end of the day. So, we're gonna shimmy our way through here. Yep, just jump across. And one of the things that I really love, which you'll see pretty early on, even just now, is that Lara has an absolute crap ton of custom animation. She will animate for different things, like you don't even need to. Like, watch what happens when I walk too close to the fire. Oh, she's shielding her face from the fire. Just little cool little touches like that throughout the game, which is just really helps to just make her feel a little bit more realistic, aside from the boobs. It's actually kind of a funny story in itself, which I'll get to probably a bit later. But right now, we need to escape. I know our good friend Zed is shooting at us! Why is it so? We'll have to find out. As we continue with Tomb Raider Underworld. Crystal Dynamics. Crystal Dynamics are the group that took over from Core, who originally developed Tomb Raider. However, we're going to just start off here 1 week earlier on our pimp-ass boat in our sexy wetsuit. Yeah, look at that butt. You know, I take it back. When I said that Jill Valentine had the best butt,
hey, Lara.
I forgot about this.
Patience, Zip. I warned you that conveniently undiscovered islands would be scarce in the Mediterranean.
Are you sure this Eddington chap knows what he's talking about?
Everyone's so terribly British.
If he says father was convinced the path to Avalon was here, I have no reason to doubt it.
Fair enough. But it's... well, we've been talking... You've been talking, man. Leon, it's just... alright. Maybe Avalon is real, but just because some bad woman tells you your mother didn't die after all. I mean, look, I don't...
So this is all backstory that ties into the first game of the Tomb Raider reboot series, which was just called Tomb Raider.
I have no illusions that my mother is
Tomb Raider Legend, actually.
Some mythical paradise, Alistair. I only want the truth, whatever it may be. I'll ring you later.
So what happened in Tomb Raider Legend was that at the very start of the game you get to see a flashback to Lara's youth. And we actually get to see her... Let's switch our weapons here. There's some sharks in this water, and the sharks are dicks. And what you actually see at the start of the game is that Lara was in a plane crash with her mother. And what happened is that they crashed into some ruins. I'm trying to find these sharks before they find me. They crashed into some ruins, and her mother stepped into a mystical sort of gateway and disappeared. Just straight up, like, Stargate got teleported out of there, and she was assumed dead. Oh, there's a shark. How you doing? I would like you to shoot him. Yes, please. Thank you. You can only shoot things when they're in range. So she's presumed dead, but of course Lara knew better because she's disappeared into this weird magic teleporter thing, so... That was kind of the whole story with that. So this is really continuing that story where she found there's a shark. How you doing? Sharks and dicks. Use the harpoon gun, which is way more effective than pistols underwater. Or it would be if they were in range. There we go. So yeah, she's just trying to find her mother, basically. She's had a hang up for that for a while. Like pretty much her entire adult life. But right now, we're grabbing this here key. Or it's actually really a key, it's part of a mechanism. Lara Croft is addicted to sharks. Now, there's a lot of secrets in this game as well, which I should probably mention. You'll see a lot of clay pots scattered around levels and things like that. And there's two different kinds of secrets in this game. One of them is really hard to find, and it'll get you extra costumes and things like that, which is good. The other is these little tiny little cubes that you can pick up, which give you artwork and stuff, and they're littered everywhere around the game, and they're really not worth hunting down. So, if I find them by accident, I'll pick them up, but I'm not really going to go out of my way to find those at all. So this is a pretty simple puzzle. We're just going to rotate these plates so that the slightly darker ones, you can see here, are all in the center. So we'll do the top one first. And we'll do these two next. Having said that, I said this is a simple puzzle, but I actually couldn't figure it out when I first played this game. I had to look it up online. So, I'm an idiot. I'm not as clever as I seem. Amazing. Feats of engineering from ancient civilizations. Also, I should point out that this is another game which has a freaking amazing soundtrack. I'm not sure if you can buy it online anymore or not. It was kind of hard to track down when I found it the first time around. It did come with the game, that is one thing. If you actually bought a retail copy of the game, it actually came with a soundtrack bundled in with it. But that soundtrack was on like a DVD kind of disc thing, so you can actually pop it into like a computer and just straight up play it through iTunes or something like that. You actually had to use the app that was on the disc, so it was a bit of a pain. That said, let's get shine a light on things. This is another like nice touch that I get, that Lara actually steps out of the water wet. And that doesn't seem like a big deal now, but again, this is 2008 and a lot of games didn't actually do that. So there's a lot of like nice little touches to Lara that you can, she steps out of the water wet, she gradually dries off. She'll pick up dirt and stuff, there's some of those pots I was talking about. She'll pick up dirt from just, as you run around levels and things like that, she'll get gradually more just, grungy looking. And again, it's one of those things that I really like that the developers just decided to add. I mean, these levels look great too. I mean, just look at like the detail of some of those rocks and things like that. I mean, you'll see it later on as well, like some of the jungle levels and things like that. They just look like just amazing. Like again, it's not something that redefines the world. It's not going to be the best looking game that you've ever seen, but you can tell this was a game that had a lot of work put into it. So they were really trying to actually make something that was actually worthwhile, worth playing. Here's another one of those great custom animations. We can spin around here. And we can stop midway and reverse. How cool is that? Come on. I love that shit. Seriously. You can even stop and perch on top of the bar. We just let go. It's just crazy. Okay, we got our next puzzle over here. We're gonna get these two plates. We hit the switch here. You'll see that we get some stuff going on here that we need to do. So, we need to pick up these blocks, which are pretty. I don't know, like, if those are made of stone, I'm not sure if I could pick those up myself, let alone a woman of her size. I mean, I'm sure, like Leon, she has not skipped leg day, but still. Alright, that's one. And here's the other one. This is another thing about the game that I really love, is that it has a grappler that you can use. And this grappling line is actually very dynamic. You can actually I don't know if we can do it here. Can we do it here? Because it has a certain length to it, but it'll actually bend around objects and things like that. Alright, can we get we'll do it here. I'll find a spot later on, but you can actually there are actually puzzles in this game where you actually have to bend the line around different objects. And it's just freaking great. Alright. So pull on this. And once again, Lara is showing complete disrespect for all archaeological finds. She is really the worst archaeologist of them all. Indiana Jones would have a fit if he had met Lara Croft.
Incredible. The carvings are clearly similar to early Germanic design, but this is far older than the 5th century, yet, strangely enough, more sophisticated. Proto-Norse runes. Let's see. World of Mist. That would be Niflheim, the realm of the dead. Not Avalon exactly, but the Norse equivalent.
Actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do this real fast. I'm actually going to see if I can turn on subtitles just so that you guys can see that, because we get subtitles here. Come on, train text, no. Game options, save game, load game, audio visual. Subtitles on, yes, that'll do. Just because there's a lot of dialogue in this game, and a lot's actually pretty interesting. You can actually learn some good stuff from playing this game. Like, I did not actually know how to pronounce the name of Thor's hammer before I actually played this game, because this is before the Thor movie actually came out. And even I'm not actually sure they probably like say it once or twice in the Thor movies, but yeah, Mjolnir, the name of Thor's hammer. There's a swag little secret things up here. Once again, just wrecking shop. Yep, there's one of those tiny little secrets I told you about. They're worthless. They really are. But yeah, Niflheim, Helheim, Mjolnir, all these kind of like Norse archaeology kind of factoids, which actually, yeah, just interesting to know about, because they do translate into real life if you ever do want to know about that kind of thing. It's also a great conversation starter. Did you know that Thor's hammer is called Mjolnir? It was. That's not the way that I want to go. I wish to go down here and stare at that butt. That ass. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Heading up? Yes, sir. There's a fair bit of platforming in this game, too. It's not at all like the reboot, which we're all familiar with, where it's a very sort of action-adventure kind of game. There are action sequences to this game, but honestly, the action in this game is not actually that particularly good. It mainly consists of just locking on enemies and then shooting till they die. So you're really in it for the exploration and platforming kind of elements of it. Oh, Jesus! I have seen enough hentai to know where this is going. I have Google searched Lara Croft Rule 34. I know how the scene ends.
Oh, that's lovely. I hope it's as blind as it looks.
Alright. So, we gotta get ourselves around this giant octopi. Which there is a trick to. There's a couple of ways you can get around to him, but I find this is the best way to do it. Now, one thing I will say about this game is that it also has quick time events in it, but because it does come from the era of games around 2005 to 2009, where QuickTime events were a big thing. That said, it does actually handle them pretty well, because it doesn't require you, it doesn't prompt you with the button that you have to use, it just relies on you to use what you think is the best action in that situation. I mean, there's only one particular action, but it's pretty obvious, which we're going to see very shortly. Which I think is a good way to handle QTEs. It shouldn't be just press this button or die, it should be do what you think is right. In this case, it's jump. So, we're going to head back here. We're going to disengage these two locks from the giant plate that we can see in the middle here. This thing, big old spiky. So we're going to do number one over here now. And there's a lever for this. Let's just hit that. Okay, you can see that we have our gears are full of tentacle right now. So we're going to fix that. So let's do that. That's the safest way to get down from here. Take the express route down, but you'll lose a fair bit of health. Yeah, let's just drop. That's a bit of health there. So that's probably a smarter way to do that. Grapple this shit. Now that got rid of this tentacle because it got crushed by the blocks, so we can now pull the lever. Again, just look at the animations of this. I mean, they're just... Ah, I love it. Alright. You can speed shimmy across. And hit that lever. And now there's just one more to hit on the other side. I don't want to go around that way because I want to actually be able to make the jump. We want to go this way. That was slightly wonky, but we got there. And now we have a similar problem over here, but this time we have to just engage this lock. There we go. Bingo! Now all we gotta do is just drop this thing down on his head. And we will have slaughtered a gigantic, completely innocent octopus. This octopus was just minding its own business. It had nothing to do except just wait here to die. Because if you can look at the notes in Lara's journal, and she speculates that it just sort of grew into this area and became too big to leave. So, poor fella. Okay, that's not what I wanted. That was permanent. Which kind of brings me to another point in this game, is that this game has a lot of what I like to call leap of faith jumps. Because the camera in this game is not the best thing in the whole world. So sometimes you know where you gotta go, but unfortunately it's not quite the easiest thing to actually get there. Because you're left just really hoping to God that you're going to be able to make this jump. And oh look, we made it this time. Alrighty, say goodnight. Building suspense. What would you even need this mechanism for? What would you do with a giant plate that just drops down with big spiky bits? Seriously. I'm genuinely curious. What was this designed for before Lara used it to kill this innocent octopus? Alright. Got Lara's trademark dual pistols. Boom! And he is understandably very upset about this. That poor thing, that could have fed like a city for like 6 months if we actually brought that in. I don't know. It's just, she's really the worst archaeologist in the world. Alright, let's go see. Let's go claim our reward. What do we get for this? Okay. Here's another great example of Lara's animation. Aside from the fact that this rock climbing animation is pretty detailed by itself, she actually moves her hands to all the handholds in the walls. She never touches a part of the wall which does not have a handhold on it. I mean, it'd be so easy to just have this as like a wonky looking texture, and just have her just move along that like anyone's business. But I put the work in for it. And we have a balancing beam here. So one of the things about Lara's character is that she's supposed to be like a world-class gymnast. So it kind of explains a lot of the shenanigans that she can get up to. And if you actually did Lara's mansion in the two earlier games, in Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Anniversary, because we can't do the mansion in this game because it's been blown up, there's actually a gym in there which actually had a lot of gymnastics equipment which you could use, just for shits and giggles.
Thor, the Norse god of thunder. Whatever are you doing down here in Niflheim? According to the Eddas, Thor needed special iron gauntlets to wield his mighty hammer Mjolnir. Could it be?
Alright, let's do this real quick. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where you actually get to bend the rope, which is pretty cool. I think that's actually really neat, because it's going to be a hard thing to program. Which you'll see here. So let's just do this real quick. Let's jump up here. Oh god, work that pole. Alright. Grab blocks. Alright, and... I didn't want to do that. There's a button to check it. What's the check button? Ah, RB. It was hidden in plain sight, I swear. Well, I could not check it that far. I'm not kidding around. I really could not. Chuck it! And we've got some Jamba Juice. Delicious. Those little things, those cups, are actually health packs. Alright, grab these now. And just very gently drop them over here. Same puzzle as before. So weigh this pad down. And now we can throw this on here. And we can actually bend it around the pillar, and it'll dynamically actually mold itself to the shape of the pillar, which is just very cool. And we can then pull it down. And that's going to be it for part 1 of Tomb Raider Underworld. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like or comment. And in part 2, I'm going to grab this swag gauntlet right over here. Alright, take care.